A baby's laughter echoed through the private garden of the luxury hotel, a sound so pure that it made even stone-hearted individuals soften. The man holding the baby stroller was a figure of elegance and power, known across the country as one of the youngest and most successful CEOs. His name was Alexander Reed. He ruled boardrooms with confidence and commanded respect wherever he went. Yet in that very moment, his expression shifted from pride to complete shock because his only child, little Emma, had reached out her small hands toward a poor woman in tattered clothes. The woman knelt in front of the baby with a gentle smile, her eyes warm and familiar in a way Alexander could not place. When she spoke, her voice trembled, perhaps from memories or the rush of emotions that suddenly flooded this chance encounter. She whispered, "Emma has her mother's eyes." Alexander's chest tightened, hearing the name unspoken between them, his beloved wife Lily, who had died only 6 months ago. He opened his mouth to respond, but the woman continued speaking quietly. "Mr. Reed, I used to be your wife's nurse." The man who feared nothing in the corporate world suddenly felt his blood freeze. He could not move. He could not speak. He simply stared at her, wondering why this stranger from a painful past appeared in his present life. For months, Alexander had been struggling to keep his life intact. His company continued to grow, his face appeared on magazine covers, and media praised his resilience. They said he was an example of strength. No one realized how broken he truly was. Every night, he stood at his daughter's bedside whispering stories Lily used to tell, promising that Emma would never lack anything except the one thing he could not replace: her mother's love. Meeting the woman who reminded him of his worst tragedy felt suffocating. His hands tightened on the stroller handle as he forced his emotions under control. "What are you doing here?" His voice held authority, but deep beneath it hid fear. The woman lowered her gaze respectfully. "I come to the hotel every week to help with cleaning. I never expected to see you here, sir. I am sorry." Alexander recognized the discomfort and vulnerability in her demeanor. Her clothes were worn, possibly the same uniform she repeated daily. She carried a small backpack with patches, and her face looked tired from years of struggle. He found himself wondering how someone who once worked alongside the best medical professionals had ended up like this. Emma giggled again, reaching for the woman's finger. The tiny gesture softened the tension, and Alexander allowed a long silence between them before speaking again. "Tell me your name." "Eliza," she replied. "I was assigned to care for Lily throughout her pregnancy and during the final weeks." A faint tremor passed through her voice, confirming that she had not forgotten a single moment of that time either. Eliza's backstory unfolded slowly, like a book soaked in rain where every word carried a stain of hardship. She explained that she had once been a nurse with a stable income and hopes of a bright future. Everything changed when her younger brother fell dangerously sick. Treatment required more money than she could ever earn. She took loans, sold her belongings, and worked extra shifts just to buy him a few more days of life. Despite all sacrifices, he died in her arms, leaving her drowning in debt and grief. Eliza lost her job due to her overwhelming absence while dealing with family tragedy. She tried to rebuild, but no hospital wanted to hire someone who looked emotionally unstable. Desperation forced her into low-paying work. Cleaning hotels and washing dishes replaced caring for patients. She accepted the humiliation because survival was her only option. Alexander listened with increasing discomfort. Someone who once saved lives and comforted families now struggled to survive each day. Meanwhile, he and other privileged people walked past individuals like her without noticing the invisible pain they carried. He felt Emma's small hand tug at his sleeve, as if reminding him that compassion still mattered. Days passed, yet Alexander could not erase the memory of that encounter. He kept seeing Eliza's eyes full of sincerity and sadness. The image of Emma smiling at her felt like a sign he should not ignore. A part of him believed that Lily would have wanted him to show kindness. Lily had always possessed a heart too big for this world. She often said that status meant nothing next to humanity. After careful thought, Alexander returned to the hotel at the same time the following week. He brought Emma along, secretly hoping to see Eliza again. When he spotted her scrubbing the marble floor, he approached slowly. She immediately stood up in surprise. "I would like to talk," he said gently. "During Lily's last days, were you there?" Eliza nodded, her throat tightening. She was a beautiful soul. She spoke so highly of you. She told me she had the perfect family and she could not wait for Emma to know her father's love. Alexander looked away as tears threatened to escape. Losing Lily had crushed him, but hearing that she had been happy also eased the pain he carried like a stone in his heart. He asked Eliza why she never reached out after Lily's death. She answered softly, "I had no right to burden you, sir. You were grieving. I felt it was better to disappear." That moment revealed the truth. Eliza never wanted anything from him. She never sought money or recognition. Her goals were simple: dignity and peace. Alexander did something unexpected, even to himself. He invited Eliza to visit his home and spend time with Emma as a caregiver. The request shocked her. "I cannot accept, sir. My situation is not worthy of your household." He shook his head firmly. "Your situation is a result of your sacrifice. That deserves respect." Eliza hesitated, but Emma clapped happily at the sound of her voice, convincing her that perhaps fate had given her another chance. She agreed with tears in her eyes. The first day at the mansion felt surreal. She walked through rooms filled with luxury she had never known. Yet the biggest treasure was the baby girl who trusted her instantly. Emma fell asleep on her shoulder during the first afternoon, something she rarely did even with Alexander. He noticed. He felt a sting, a mixture of jealousy and relief. He soon realized that Emma needed a motherly presence, not just a powerful father. Eliza brought warmth back into the house that had grown cold after Lily's death. She never overstepped boundaries. She simply cared with the same devotion she once gave to her patients. Over weeks, the atmosphere transformed from heavy mourning to gentle recovery. Alexander started smiling again. Emma laughed louder than before. Even the staff commented that the CEO's mansion felt alive once more. Rumors began to swirl among business associates and opportunistic individuals. They saw a wealthy widower in the company of a poor cleaner and assumed the worst. Many advised Alexander to fire her to preserve his image. He refused without hesitation. In a board meeting, one director spoke disrespectfully about Eliza. Alexander stood up, eyes full of authority, and declared, "She protected my wife and saved my daughter's life before she was even born. That earns her more respect than any title in this room." Silence took over. His words spread across the company, silencing those who tried to belittle her. Eliza, unaware of this confrontation, focused only on her responsibilities and on giving Emma the love she deserved. Months passed. Christmas approached. The mansion decorated itself in bright lights and warm colors, celebrating a joy that once felt impossible. On Christmas Eve, Alexander called Eliza into the family room. Emma, now learning to walk, toddled toward her with open arms. The moment felt like a perfect picture of hope. Alexander handed Eliza a small envelope and asked her to open it. She unfolded the paper cautiously. Her eyes widened as tears spilled down her cheeks. Inside was a letter of employment offering her a full-time position as Emma's caregiver with a generous salary, medical benefits, and support to return to nursing school if she wished. "Your life must not end in suffering," he stated in a steady voice. "You gave everything for your family. Now allow someone else to give something back." Eliza struggled to speak through the tears. "Sir, I do not know how to thank you." Alexander set a gentle hand on her shoulder. "By staying, Emma needs you. So do I." The fire crackled in the background, illuminating the three of them. It felt as if Lily was there too, watching with a soft smile, grateful that kindness had found its way into the heart of a man who once felt loss over time. Eliza rebuilt her career, regained her confidence, and earned back the respect she once lost. She became part of the Reed family, not by blood, but by choice and love. Alexander discovered that strength was not measured by achievements alone, but by compassion and courage to heal. Baby Emma grew up surrounded by stories of her mother and guided by two people who adored her deeply. The memory of Lily lived on through acts of kindness that shaped their lives. Life can push people into darkness where dignity seems lost and hope feels distant. Yet every person has a story that deserves understanding rather than judgment. One small act of compassion can change an entire future. Remember to be kind. You never know whose heart you might save.